TradingNut, episode 58.
So what I've discovered is that market respects the structures from wick to wick, and how it gets to the top or bottom of the structure is really important.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the TradingNut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got Max Shilo on the show. Now, Max is a Forex trader from Estonia who has come on the show to talk not just about his trading, but he's been one of these guys that have gone through a funded trading program. So what that means is he's been evaluated, he's gone through verification process to test his trading out until he got to the point where he could leverage up his capital and essentially trade on behalf of a firm. So you call him a prop trader, trading firm, one of these sort of outfits where you basically end up trading the firm's money and leveraging your own capital. So he came out the other side. He was able to not just pass the evaluation, but also start earning some cash on through these firms. So if you're interested in this sort of thing or this sort of approach, you're going to hear more about it in today's interview, but you can also check out the funding page I've got up there on the TradingNut website, where there are some funding providers that have been on the show before. So these guys, there's a couple of them, maybe three up there at the moment. These guys basically will take you on board and test you out first to see whether or not you can actually trade within their rules, and then they will fund you some of their capital to trade, and you get you get a proportion of the profits. I think it's usually the minimum is 50, but I've seen as high as 80 as well, so there's 80 as well over there. So you can go and check that out. Now, there are links in the show description. Now, I've changed the way I do these, so there is only one link you need to have now, which is under this thing called Linktree. It seems to be a popular thing that keeps popping up now, where I've got all my links there. So you just need to pop that Linktree link, if it's not clickable, into your browser, and you'll get all the links I talk about here on the show. What else can I tell you? Right, yeah, we did shoot a video after the show with Max, so you can check that out through that Linktree link. It's a short little video. We walk through how he approaches the markets. What you'll find is something quite unique. It's very simple, but it seems to be very effective as well. So I like this video a lot, guys. You can go and check this out. And also, I have recorded this in full video format as well, so you'll get to see us chatting if you jump over there to the YouTube channel afterwards as well. And make sure you subscribe whilst you're there. Now, before we get into our interview, I did have a message pop through my desk this week from one of my long-term listeners known as Brad. He is a Forex trader. He's from Australia. I won't give too much away about him. I'm sure he likes his privacy, but he did send me a great little note. So thank you very much for this, Brad. I'm going to read out some of it here on the show today, because I think there are a lot of lessons here for us. Now, I'm probably going to have to pause this about 15 times to get through this, as I've tried it before, and I keep stumbling over things. So if it sounds a little bit cut, that's probably why. So let's get started with this little note from Brad, which is hopefully going to inspire and also educate you guys at the same time. Okay, so right, let's get into it. This is from Brad. So when it comes to trading, I know it came to us because we desired to learn about and improve ourselves, and what better way to master yourself than trying to master the world's markets? A martial arts, a sport, a craft is obviously the same way of mastering oneself, and that is why you and me trade when most think it's a mugs game. Most people don't want to face themselves. They would rather blame others or the external world for their misfortune, as they have been led to believe this is how the world operates. When, like you, find out in trading the polar opposite is true. When you realize it is time to buy something, it is actually time to start thinking about selling. So to sum it up, from my life experience and my trading experience, you keep getting what you ask for. It may seem unfair at times, but your inner being, higher self or subconscious, etc., doesn't know the difference between what is real or what is not, and therefore gives you what you want or desire without fail, even if it works out to seem to be not what you really want. I've had so many trades that have reached where I wanted to, or expected price to reach, but didn't close and take the money or pips when I had the opportunity in the now, because of my logically trained mind came on board and said, hey, wait a minute, I'm feeling greedy or overconfident. There could be more if I hold this trade. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? If you ask for, say, 100 pips for the night's trading and you're used to trading intraday, simple answer is take the 100 pips you asked for. That is how to keep trading simple. Most people are worried about the future, so they'll hold and lose the chance at that 100 pips because they changed their mind and did not stay focused in the now. Then they close at a loss, and price ends up going in the direction they believed it would. I also realized from my martial arts training that people like Bruce Lee and his 1-inch punch is possible if you are completely physically relaxed but mentally focused in the now. Not yesterday, not what's going to happen tomorrow, but now is when you're at your best level of being at one with anything and everything. Most focus on their losing trades and try to fix everything that is the wrong way of going about it. You have to stay in a happy and relaxed mindset and focus on the good trades and repeat that over and over. You leave it up to the universe, your higher self, to fix the bigger problems and relax and enjoy the now. Thank you, Brad. That was absolutely fantastic. Summary of how we should act and, I suppose, operate as traders. Guys, if you want to get the full version of that, head over to the Telegram group and flick a note through, and I'll post that up there. Now, let's get on with this interview with Max, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, folks, we've got Max Shilo here on the show. So Max was I brought him on the show because he's one of these guys that have gone through the funding process of one of these outfits out there that lets you trade their money, sort of like a prop trading firm. He's actually gone through and qualified, and I wanted to get somebody on who'd been through that experience to not just share that, but obviously also share their full trading journey and trading story here on TradingNut. So welcome to the show, Max. How are you?
Thanks, Cam. Very well. Thank you. It's 8 a.m. here in Estonia, and actually I've been up for quite a while already. So I did my gym and morning rituals, and feeling great. Also actually coming from a 38 hour water fast. So actually just drinking my first coffee and feeling good. So basically I'm breaking my fast. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but I have my water here as well. So just after we'll be finished, I'll take my first sort of real meal as well.
38 hours, so that's a day and a sleep, is it, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 24 hours and I sleep, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. Because I was doing fasting at the start of the year, and look, I was doing the sort of 22 hours, maybe 21 sometimes 20, and then having dinner and then just carrying on. So plus I was doing coffee as well. So I was probably having too many coffees a day, maybe. Well, I got up to 3, which isn't too bad, just to stave off the hunger. So yeah, 38. Was it 38 or 36?
36, yeah.
36.
But I think it's not a big deal really. My longest one was five days in a row. So after that, I felt like really weak, and I had to stop. But my initial goal was to go straight to 10. But I couldn't do that. But maybe in future.
Yeah, my brother did 5, and he did it, but he said he was like so tired. He just kept falling asleep all over the shop. No energy. But hey, look, today we're not gonna get too much into the fasting thing. Although it'd be great to talk to you about that. Maybe we can do a different podcast and do one on fasting. So today we want to hear your trading story to start off with, and I mean how you first got into it and your journey up to date.
Yeah, so it's actually quite a funny story. I got into trading by a scam. So essentially, they were offering some kind of groups were offering. Basically, it was a system that will be installed in your computer, and they will trade for you. Instead of you actually making trades, you will see how they're trading and doing basically, I don't know how it's actually called, but they promised like really great returns. And I was like, okay, I can just, throw some money at it and see how it goes. And if it's going good, then it's fine. If not, then I didn't lose that much money. And actually, I was living with my mate back then, and he was doing these binary options. And I was like, no way I'm going to get involved in that, because he was always losing money. And like, based on his what he was saying, I was like, I'll never get into trading. And somehow they managed to sell me the course or whatever it was, and I was hooked from there. So I remember I was working at my day job, and I was watching those trades were going in minus and plus, and obviously the service wasn't as great as advertised, but that was the kind of a hook that get me into the game.
So they made it look like you were doing well, so that you could potentially give them more money. Is that right?
No, they were just actually just trading for me. I don't even know how it went. I stopped like the system quite soon, because I started experimenting on my own, knowing nothing basically about the industry. But that's how it started. And actually, a funny story. I was more into soccer betting at the time. And my strategy was like, basically I will deposit a small amount of money. It was like $20 or something, and then I'll try to make as much as possible from there. So I managed to get a couple of times from like 10 euros to a couple of thousand, and that was basically my strategy, right? And then I tried to implement the same thing in Forex, and I think I got like really, really lucky, and I made from 10 euros, I made 2,000. So I basically did like 200 times return in a matter of a couple of weeks. Whoa. But just, full margin all the time. And that was just, that opened my eyes completely and got me hooked. Yeah.
And so when you say full margin, I mean, how did you do that? What did that sort of look like in that period, and especially around like what kind of strategy were you even trying to attempt?
I don't know. Like to be honest, I was just randomly betting all my money on just like one specific moment, and I was really lucky because, like, just in hindsight, I know that it was driven by the fundamentals back then, and obviously I didn't withdraw the money, so essentially it would be good to say that I made the money, but I didn't, because I lost it, obviously, because of the CAD news that were coming out, and I was obviously full margin, didn't know what I was doing and how the market works really. So yeah, it was. I think I managed to withdraw like 700 of it because but still I was in profit, so it was quite a good return. But yeah, that what got me hooked.
So you're taking a win and then basically betting the house on the next one as much as you could, and then until you either withdrew or blew the whole thing. Which isn't too bad, exactly. On a 10 euro account. I mean, you still got 10 euros up for grabs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought about it like a random lunch that I ate at home, and I basically risked nothing and wanted to actually get something, and I think a couple of times I made it, but yeah, it's obviously not a sustainable and long-term strategy that will actually get you somewhere, right?
Yeah. So I mean, how did you even choose a pair to trade, or were you on a whole raft of pairs?
Yeah, it was just random, really.
Okay.
Yeah, just random.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, so you did that, and you lost the money. You took 700. Where did you go next? What did you think you were missing?
Then, like, my kind of my beliefs were changed immediately from there, and from there I thought it's going to be quite easy to actually be successful in the game. And basically, I even thought about quitting my job straight away. But yeah, from there it wasn't that easy. I managed to get actually a really nice return, but it was just a gamble, because if you're betting like more than 10% of your account, it's definitely a gamble, and it's not sustainable. So yeah, after that I actually started learning and trying different things, and obviously not betting much, because I knew that, well, obviously I didn't have that much money anyway to bet on, and I started small, which I think is really key in this game, to bet small and stay in the game as long as you can, until you actually learn this stuff and understand how the markets work, right? And yeah, from there on, I started actually. I personally think that even now I don't know exactly all the things, how the market works and all that, but step by step you're getting closer to that, and if you're making progress, you're actually ahead of where you were yesterday. So I think it's a key to just take it step by step and enjoy the process. To actually, if like, to me the most important thing actually is that for years and years and years I was looking for this one thing that I actually like and enjoy doing, right? Yeah. And now, since it clicked and I actually enjoy doing it, then I basically consider myself as I have already won the game. So now it's just a matter of going after it.
Cool. So you mentioned there that you did make a bit of money as well after the initial sort of gamble attempt. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you get any specific training at all? Like, did you seek out or source mentors or anything like that, or was it all just sort of self-discovery, looking at the charts type stuff?
No, not really. I mean, I think one of the things that will, obviously the social media is actually a huge thing. So I started, searching all the hashtags, and I was after the best like traders in the world, and I discovered quite quickly. There's the guy. They're basically a group of scalpers, and they're actually quite active even now, and they're quite improved their strategy. But the Wicks Don't Lie community, that's where it all got started for me. I was starting scalping with EMAs and basically Wicks, that was my first sort of entry, and I did actually quite well. But the thing is that you can do really well in trading on a smaller account. You can flip accounts. You can do basically enormous returns. But the moment you will get a bigger account and actually start trading real money, then it will change, because you can flip like few $100 and $500 and maybe even in 1,000. But on a bigger scale, it's not trading at the scale, which is the essence of trading, I guess.
Okay, so you took that sort of initial learning and you started off scalping. I mean, did you transition from being a scalper to being more of a swing trader, or looking for sort of bigger moves?
Maybe not, because, well, I consider myself to be being as a day trader, because my journal just says that like 80% of my trades are closed in the same day, basically. So if I'm in good profit, then I obviously let it run. But most of my trades are actually closed by the end of the day. It just so happens. So I consider myself to be a lower time frame trader. Yes, and maybe the scalping sort of beginning have had an influence on me from that moment. So yeah, maybe.
Okay, so I mean, when you're scalping, how many pips were you trying to take on a normal scalping position?
It's like it's hard to say it was like a scalping, but 25 pips.
Okay.
And then you're in and out basically. So you take what the market gives you, and you don't care what the market's going to do next, right? So you just take your sort of part and you leave, and you do two trades, you shut the screen, and you're out. So your day is over, right? So you don't care what the market does, and it's actually a good way to approach the market, I think, because it's basically following the strategy. That's all it is. So 2 trades, I'm done for today. I don't care, and I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a way to approach the markets.
Okay, so you move from scalping to sort of you're doing 80% intraday trades. I mean, has the original approach from these wick entries changed to something else?
Yes, well, basically, I'm trading continuations and market structures. So to me, it's important to feel the strength of the price. So it's either ascending, descending, how impulsive it is. Basically, if the price is showing that it's actually weakening by descending or ascending nature, then it's very likely that it can basically turn around at any given time. So to me, it's important to, like, what I've understood from my experiences is that the market actually respects the structures, the market structures, which is basically a patterns. And it doesn't have to be like picture perfect, but it respects them from wick to wick. So it's not, but at least how I see the markets. That's why I love trading, because you can show a chart to a person and we will see it completely different. So you basically trade your beliefs and understanding how the market works, right? So what I've discovered is that market respects the structures from wick to wick, and how it gets to the top or bottom of the structure is really important. So the nature of the price is basically, we as traders, we are like our unique sort of ability is to read the markets, right? And you can there's a lot of information going on, and you can actually read what's going on, right? So you can take it as reading a book, or one of the techniques that I'm using is just telling a story of what I'm seeing on the chart. So what it's going to do there, like if the price is going to get there, then the chances are very, very high that it's going to turn down, because it's not sustainable to go through the price chart or price pattern with this kind of a nature, right? So basically the chart is like a book. So if you can read the book, basically you have opened the secret of like mastering the markets, right?
Yeah.
But there's much more behind that. It's not just reading the book, reading the chart like a book. It's your basically personal beliefs, and so there's so much psychology behind it. I've came to realization that the trading is actually like pretty much 90% psychology rather than just pressing the button, because anyone could press the button and make a trade and make a profitable trade. Even a monkey can do that, right? But doing it every day consistently, it's actually against the human nature. What I've discovered is like, because as human beings, we're basically animals, right? So we want it fast. We want it right now. We're impatient. We're not willing to wait for that moment. We're sort of instant gratifications. It's basically the markets can provide us a way to to express ourselves as from deep roots of our human nature, but as traders we have to work against it. So it's actually really interesting. To me, it's trading is a way to rediscover myself and actually a way of self-development, so to say.
And just to clarify everything here, so you say wick to wick. Are you talking about if you're drawing like a pattern using the wicks and their prices respecting those wicks, and it's basically you can sort of see that the price respects the line I've drawn across the top of the wicks or something like that. Okay, cool. You're nodding. Yeah. Brilliant. So let's move on to the outfit you use, and what was the name of them again? To do the funded account?
FTMO.
FTMO. So FTMO offer a funded account, bit of a prop trading firm. So how did you get into that, and what made you first decide to head down that route?
So I was living in New Zealand back then, and I was working and trading, and actually just basically learning how to trade. And to me, when they targeted me with ads, and to me it was a no-brainer. Like, again, from my previous experience, I tried to bet a little bit of money to make a lot of money, right? So the downside was really limited, and the upside was enormous for me. And this offer, so essentially you pay a certain fee, and if you do a break-even month, you will get to do the challenge for free again, which is okay. I can do that, right? And to me, the offer in itself was so ridiculously no-brainer because the downside was limited. I mean, what I can lose, I can lose $500 or whatever it might be, right? And if you win, you could potentially change your life for the good or get a financial independence, right? So to me, it was such a no-brainer to actually do the challenge. And I mean, in terms of development as a trader, it was really, really important to actually take the challenge. So I really, really recommend to everyone.
And so at that point, did you feel that you knew what to do with a larger balance and how you were going to approach it, or did you have to sort of step back and go, all right, I'm now dealing with more money, I need to sort of rethink things here and have a bit of a strategy about it?
Yeah, well, it's like I'm that kind of person who, like, if I don't know how to do something, I will do it anyway, and then I'll figure it out how I'm gonna do it on the way. So I know not many people are actually thinking like that. So they're more conservative. They're thinking about it. They're pondering whether I should take it, whether I should not, how I'm gonna manage it, and blah blah blah. I'm just jumping into it straight away because that's just who I am and how I've been approaching my whole life. So we don't know what we're gonna. I mean, in business as well, it's you never know what will happen next, right? And that's fine. We're gonna figure it out.
Okay, cool. So you dove in, you passed the first one. Did you fail the first one and then pass the second time?
No, actually, I failed many times. Okay. So it wasn't easy for me to actually, I was really close many times, and like because I failed, like just at the very end, it actually gave me a great indication like about my personality as well. So I tend to give up at the very last second on different areas of my life. So that's like a personal trait that came out of it. And I would pay more money for knowing this sort of trait than the challenge itself. So I mean, it was a no-brainer even in hindsight. Yeah.
So how many times? So we don't even need to know how many times, but
yeah.
what made you sort of stick with it so that you didn't give up? Like, you know, because it sounds like if you've done it like, you know, 5 times and you failed, you sort of, most people would throw in the towel. Why didn't you throw in the towel? Why did you carry on until you finally, I don't even know what happens when you get there. I mean, you got a funded account, was it? And you could trade a higher amount, or you could just withdraw some money.
Yeah, well,
sorry. First of all, why did you stick with it? Let's go with that.
Because again, I mean, the system is programmed so that you can fail a lot of times, right? So they will let you do it again. And to me, it was even a no-brainer if I'll lose like 10 times in a row. Even then, it was a no-brainer for me. And again, it's just a personal development. I wanted to get like I wanted to complete the challenge successfully. So I can't just give up. You know, the reason why traders actually fail in this game is because they give up. You know, the only way to fail is to give up in this game. So, you know, with trading and basically our physical reality as well, you know, the world acts as if reflection of the mirror, right? But it will drag for a long time until your reflection will start manifesting in the physical life, right? But the thing is that until you get to the reality, most people will give up, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they don't make it. I think in this game, as I said, the only way to actually fail is to give up and stop trading until you're in the game, until you come back every time, every day to look for another opportunity and for your trades. Then you're still in the game and then you're still developing, right? I mean, to me, it was a no-brainer to continue. I mean, it never even crossed my mind.
And were you trading your own money at this point in time as well, or just purely it was all in on the fund?
I'm trading my own money as well.
Okay. So are you placing exactly the same trades, or just your own money? You're trading whatever trades, different trades, or are they same?
Well, I trade different strategies. Yeah. So if I see one sort of certain specific setup, then I'll just take it on one specific account and then others on another.
And this was okay. So you were doing the FTMO, you were doing one strategy, and then your own money, you were doing a different one. Okay, cool. All right, and just to sort of wrap this all up, I mean, so you finally got to the point where you could, you know, this was going to work for you. Are you still doing it? What are your thoughts, feelings post going through this whole process and getting funded? I mean, how does it all panned out for you?
Yeah, I just want to say to all the traders out there, the really important thing is that, you know, as a trader, you sort of have to pass like different kind of levels. So essentially, if you're trading like a few thousand pound or euros account, right? You can be consistent and you can actually make decent percentage per month. But once you actually start trading a bigger capital, then all your limiting beliefs and your basically psychology will amplify, and it's a whole different game. Because if you think you were trading at a scale before, then and you actually were not, then when you get a bigger account, then it's basically you start from scratch. You start from zero, really, because, you know, actually betting a lot of money on one specific idea and losing, and betting another amount and losing is a just different world, basically. So I think that the faster you'll get to a point where, because every trader eventually wants to trade a bigger capital and become financially free and do it full time, right? But there's so many like obstacles on the way, and even if you get there, you might not like it, because to me, I was actually trading full time for 5 months, maybe even a bit more, maybe half a year. And to be honest, I didn't like it, and that's why I'm actually occupied with like different projects at the moment as well. So to me, it was okay. Well, I'm waking up, I'm checking my charts, and you have this kind of a pressure that you actually have to make money in order to survive. Even though I had a buffer, like a nice buffer, but still, to me, I'm just that kind of a person who thinks that trading is just one side of life, and it's mostly it's just waiting, right? You wait until the setup. You basically, as a trader, you are a waiter. So you wait until your setup presents itself. You wait until it gets to a perfect sort of condition. Then you wait until it moves away from your sort of entry to get it to break even. Then you wait until it hits your profit or stop loss or whatever. So basically, it's it doesn't take that much of a time if you're not a scalper, right? So I did find it really, really hard to be a full-time trader, because I just get bored, and I was forcing trades, and it was pretty dark time of my life, to be honest.
Right.
So now I'm occupied. I'm kicking the ass on every level and feeling great. But like looking back at the time I was full time for half a year, I didn't really like it. Maybe because I wasn't occupied with other projects. But yeah, I think that it's not for everyone to actually trade full time. I mean, we all have this dream, right? Well, once I quit my job, I'll start trading full time. Then I'll get this and that, then that happens, and then I'll be I don't know, a millionaire or whatever. But it doesn't work like that. So
yeah,
you'll if you first, like I was getting like, I don't know, like $1 grand. Yeah, okay, it's hard to say that like that, but yeah, if you're betting your what's it called in New Zealand, fortnightly? Yeah, fortnightly, like a wage on one trade, then and you have so many limiting beliefs about your current wage. So essentially, you have to scale up, right? Somehow you have to break your limiting beliefs before actually trading a bigger capital. And the best way to break those limits is to actually trade bigger capital, because otherwise it's hard to break, right?
Yeah,
it's like, how I'm gonna get to a 6-figure income. It's like, to me, it was basically I didn't know how I'm gonna get there. I know that it's out there in this universe, but it was hard to believe that I'm gonna get there. But now, if like thinking that yes, those limits are now broken, what's possible now? Like, you have to take basically you have to break your limiting beliefs and then take a step further and further and further. So it's just a matter of taking the steps. Yeah, I know if you get the point.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I get the point. It's it's interesting. It is very interesting that somebody sort of gets there, and then the reality is, the reality is, once you get higher dollar figures involved, even losing that first trade, if because there's equal chance of losing the first trade at a higher level than at a lower level, and I suppose losing that first trade, you've got to, if it's going to be a loser, it's going to hurt, right? Because if if the loss is now $1,000 instead of $50 or $100, or it's $5,000, then you're going to be like, what the hell's going on here? How can I do the next trade? So I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Very, very different ball games. Okay, cool. Look, let's push on with some more of the questions that I typically ask in the show. So you've given us great sort of run into this. So if you had to sort of break down what you currently do into like stats around your trading, what does that look like at the moment? So number of trades, winning percentages, that sort of thing.
I have to check my journal, really. But
I mean, how often do you trade during the week now?
Actually, not that many times as I used to. So let's say, for example, last week I took 4 trades, and the week before that I was first three days I didn't take a single trade, and then the last couple of days gave me like 5 trades in a row, which in hindsight I thought maybe I was over trading, but the opportunities were there, so I just took them. And it's just a matter of like really understanding or trying to understand what it is that you're looking for. And actually I'm still trying different things. So to me, I haven't really found myself as a trader yet. I'm still learning the game, because I'm not 100% ready, and I don't think that no one's ever going to be, because the market is always changing, and basically what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. In 100, like the same way, right? Essentially, if you backtested a data like 10 years of data on every single pair, then you know that certain things work the same way, and the probabilities are higher, right? But at the end of the day, again, it's just a matter of probabilities, the game of probabilities. So, and how you will calculate them, it's it's a thing of perspective. But nowadays, still doing basically a day trading and taking as much as possible from the market and trying not to give much back. So I know how much a certain pair can move in a day, basically, and the behavior of a certain pair is actually a really important sort of knowledge or a tweak that you can have. So I know that for certainty that how Euro NSD, what's the behavior? That's basically my favorite pair. I know how it works, how it behaves.
NSD. What's that? Is it NZD or NSD?
EN, yeah, Euro NSD.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's one of
NSD. What does NSD stand for? I don't even know if I know that one.
Kiwi dollar.
NZD.
Kiwi.
NZD.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought you meant NZD. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. What other pairs do you trade?
All the main pairs actually, except just few like Aussie Kiwi or maybe Aussie Swiss, or kind of a few other pairs that I don't really touch that much, that are just so too massive to me. But yeah, all the main pairs and cross pairs as well.
And what about risk to reward? What do you look at there?
Starting from 1 to 2, but I don't really like to take 1 to 2. 1 to 3 is my bread and butter, so that's my sort of favorite risk reward. But if the market doesn't present anything, then I can actually take a smaller amount as well, because sometimes it might, you never know if this 1 to 2 will give you a bigger risk reward. So if it's at least 1 to 2, then I'm kind of interested, but not really. Sometimes it can be a much bigger trade than you can guess, right? So let your winners run is a good way to approach the markets anyway.
Yeah. Well, look, and what about your typical trading day? I mean, how does that start off with So I believe you're working full time as well as doing some other stuff in the industry. I mean, how does that look for you?
Yeah. So essentially pre London, 8:30, I'm at my desk and I'm putting on Pomodoro practice, which is basically a 25-minute sort of period where you don't do anything else but just focus on one thing. Then I'll go through all my charts, all my watch list, and which is already ready from the previous day. Then I'll just adjust everything. I move my, I sort of extend my patterns and forecast every possible scenario, what can happen, and what if the price will go there, then what I'm going to do next, and set my alerts and sort of get a feel what might be ready sooner than later, and what might need time. So essentially just adjusting, putting my first sort of 3 charts that I'm looking basically every 15 minutes, and then others will wait for their time to come. So yeah, 25 minutes. I think like that's the beauty of the trading as well. So what I'm doing as another project of mine is I'm doing content for a Forex broker called Admiral Markets, and I'm doing like weekly webinars there, and also producing written content, and basically educating like those who don't have any education at all.
Right.
So what I like to, and a lot of them are actually like office workers in, like basically a modern youth or the generation that could be trading. I always like to tell them that the trading doesn't have to take much of your time. You just have to have your daily routine. So every time you like basically you can trade daily candles or daily charts, only coming back every certain time of the day for 15 minutes. You check your charts, you see if there's a trade. If there's not, I'm leaving back to work, and that's my trading. And you can be much more successful and consistent in trading, taking only 15 minutes every single day to check your charts and to place a trade if you know what you're doing. And I think that's basically the best way to approach the markets. The best traders that I actually know, they trade just one setup. Just one setup every day. They come back. If they don't see anything, they don't trade, and that's it. So I mean, it doesn't have to be that complicated. But yeah, to me, I've discovered that I like to be more active. I like the game itself, and I like to check the charts. And I know from my memory every single chart. Like if you show me the chart, you don't say what the chart what the name of the chart is. I'm sure if on all of the FX pairs, I know what the chart is, or I can name it.
And so, what time frame would you be mainly focused on?
1 hour, and I like to zoom in on 15 minutes. Yeah, okay. but mostly on 1 hour is my prime.
So you do the 25-minute Pomodoro, and then after that, your trades are placed. You're putting limit orders in, or are you waiting for market orders and alerts? How does that work?
Yeah, actually, so my personal preference is, but again, knowing my statistics, is 90% of my losers are actually coming from the market orders. So I always set limit orders. If the price comes here, it will take me in, because I know that I like to have the best price possible. If it's a top or a bottom or whatever this top of the bottom of the structure, which is my, again, bread and butter, I like to have the best price, and I know that if I wait long enough, then the price will come there and will take me in. The market will always take me into the trade. So that's what I've discovered. The moment I start like getting into the market straight away is the moment I will start losing or getting to a losing streak. So yeah, that's something I discovered.
Okay, so it sounds like the majority of your trades are limit orders. So you do all the work in the 25 minutes and then you're done.
No, it's actually just the preparation. So during the daytime, I basically a day trade. Even though I'm occupied with my other projects, trading is still like basically my main thing that I'm doing and that I'm focusing on. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So what about cryptocurrencies? Have you ever delved into those?
No, not really actually. I think it's going to be a big thing. I don't know much about cryptocurrency trading. I hold some coins I bought basically at the top, which
Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was Tron that I bought personally.
Right.
I went just one coin and I didn't do much research. It was all hype, and don't forget it wasn't really a big sum, like a couple of grands that I invested in it, and it's just sitting somewhere at the bottom, I guess.
Yeah, I've been heard of that one.
But I think it's going to be a massive thing in the whole world. So it's just, to me, cryptocurrencies are actually just like internet. You know, when it came, no one actually knew how to use it, and they were like, "Oh, what I'm gonna do with that?" But you know, since then it just evolved, and we'll see how it goes. But as of now, I don't invest in it. I don't trade them at all. But again, I think it was last week when I saw the Bitcoin, it jumped like massively, a really nice spike, and technically it was really, really, really clean that it's gonna go and jump up from there again from week to week. It was so clean, but I just didn't see the chart, and just got my notification from Forex Live that Bitcoin just jumped, and I saw the chart. It was like, oh my god, it's so clean. It was just so obvious. But yeah, don't trade cryptos.
Cool. Right. Look, we're going to move into the quickfire round in a second, but before we do, if you had to sort of, I suppose, give the guys a recommendation around looking at a price chart and studying up on some things, what would you recommend they, start studying? Top 3 things.
Basically, the nature of the price will give a great indication about how strong the price is, right? If it's like going up, breaking the high, retracing, breaking the high, retracing, breaking the high, retracing. So you would normally, naturally, you would expect the price to go down, because it's not sustainable to just go up like that for forever, right? It's just a matter of time until it sells off, and normally the it can go like few days, just basically retracing and breaking the highs, retracing, and then even 1 4-hour candle that we as traders we want to get involved when the market is impulsive, right? So essentially these are the things that will indicate where the price is going to go and the market's going to go. So I think the nature of the price is first thing that I would recommend studying or understanding or having a sight of. I think what else? What's the question again? Sorry.
So 3 things, basically 3 things that you would recommend someone study if they were looking at a price chart.
Another thing that I would actually focus on are the wicks. So the wicks are indicating that it's really hard for the price. It's basically a supply and demand to me. So the wicks are certain areas on the chart that are very hard to break, because again, you have to imagine the strength of the price. So all these wicks, the buyers are just pushing so hard the price up, and there's the sort of supply or demand zone, whether it's upward upwards or downwards chart. So I think just learning the price and also like obviously the candlestick formations are also something to be to consider while being just totally like candlestick patterns are always a great, like, gives you confidence, right? If the chart's going up or down, but I think wicks are really important, and the nature of the price itself are two main things.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into the quickfire round here. So this is about 9 questions, just to help summarize some of what you've already gone over, Max, and also expand on some other things. Some of them aren't that quick, so we'll just see how we get on. Look, first one is, how long did it take you to go from trading newbie to consistently profitable?
It's hard to say because I'm still learning. I don't like to think that I'm consistently profitable. If I'm consistently profitable, it means that I expect every single month that I will make at least 10 to 15%, and that's not the reality at the moment. So I'm very, very far from where I want to be, but I know I'm going to get there because it's just a matter of time. But I think, like, it's just, as traders we have so many limiting beliefs. So normally they say that it will take like five years or 4 years to get consistent profitable. I think it's kind of true because that's your basically experience, right? But if you know what you're doing, and if you have a great mentor and you have a very good setup that you backtest, then it can happen much quicker. If you can do it in one year for sure, because you're coming every day, you're coming back for this certain setup. You know what you're doing. You know that the odds are like you're basically a casino, right? As a consistently profitable trader. So you know what you're doing. You're coming back for this certain setup, and you don't care about anything else. So that's basically I think how the way to get to consistency the fastest is to take one setup, backtest it like a lot, do it all over again, and you will eliminate all the fear that comes with the trading, because you know that if you see the setup, it's very likely that it's going to be a winner. And if it's not, you don't care, because your winners are going to be much larger than even the one loser, right? So how to get consistent profitable in the least amount of time. Take one setup, study it, take it from, if you don't know what the setup is, take it from your mentor or whatever it might be, and backtest it, and just do one thing, and then master another.
What's your mental approach to trading, and do you have any special techniques you can share with us?
Mental approach, is it?
Yeah, so do you like any psychological tricks that you use, or techniques you use to get yourself in the right mindset?
Yep. So basically, it's a technique that I learned from a webinar. It was for stock traders, but essentially you have to before starting your day, just come to your desk or whatever it might be, your best sort of place, just relax, put yourself in a positive state of mind, and remind yourself of your really like the best trades or the happiest moments of your trading life, right? And then put a circle on your sort of this. If you're sitting, just put a circle on your chair, stand up, and watch yourself from this sort of positive state of mind, and then come back and sit there again. So, you just basically, you change your natural state of being to the most positive trader you've ever been. So you're just starting your day from this really positive state of mind.
And when you say stand up and look at yourself, do you mean actually physically stand up or mentally stand up and physically?
And look at look at yourself just sitting in the chair from this, at this person, and then come back and sit there again.
Yeah.
So that's a great one. It's in my trading plan as well, but I don't use it that much, but it's a good way to start your day for sure.
What's your favorite entry setup?
My favorite entry setup is a M pattern, which is basically a corrective nature to the double top ascending nature, which I'm actually checking Aussie USD at the moment. So it's very, very close to giving us this beautiful setup. So I'm already looking forward to my Pomodoro practice.
Yeah. Okay, and what strategies do you use to exit or manage active trades?
So basically, if the most recent low is broken, then I'm setting I'm basically moving my stop to the most recent high. And once the next low will be broken, again, I'm basically managing on breaking the lows, then just setting my stop loss or moving my take profit on the next high. So essentially, I'm just giving the market. The market is gonna tell me when the trend is gonna reverse. Then I'm gonna be out of the trade. So essentially, just breaking the low, moving my stop to a previous high, and so on and so on.
Okay, so there's no fixed take profit. Do you ever take profit without hitting the stop loss?
Yes, I do, but that's sort of my my main management technique. But I like to get out of the market when I feel that the market's not gonna go much further, and from now on, it's gonna take my sort of profit back.
Yeah,
I don't like to give much profit back, because sometimes I've taken like 3-yard trade just completely reversed, and you're just hoping that it's gonna continue, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's just how I approach the markets again.
What's your recommended trading book?
Obviously, Trading in the Zone is a must for everyone, but I think that's something you guys already know. But I think that's the book. Mindful Edge was a pretty decent one. So I read a lot of books throughout the year, and I think Mindful Edge is a great book for sure. I like reading. I think it's a great age, and you don't have any excuse not to read if you can.
If there was one thing you'd recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering, what would it be, why, and how could they go about mastering it?
Backtesting would be the thing. With backtesting, I've struggled a lot with consistency of backtesting, but I think it's the most important thing in trading, because it eliminates the fear, especially when you are trading just one specific setup. Then if you backtest it for so many years of data on so many different pairs, you really don't care about if it's going to be a loser or a winner, because you don't fear entering the market, because you know that over the time the setup will play out, and you have a certainly an edge over the market. So I think backtesting, and I think one of the best sort of tips that I can give you is a gamification on adding a gamification to your backtesting. So essentially, you wanna reward yourself if you get a certain percentage in 1 year on a certain pair. So let's say I can go to a restaurant instead of going to a random lunch place or whatever, right?
Yeah.
If I hit this percentage on this pair in this certain period of time. So I think that's most important to master. It's like the dry work that no one wants to do, which I understand, but it's you just can't get over it. You have to backtest, and if you don't, then you basically you can do 10 years of data, 10 years of trades in 24 hours of work, which would take you normally 10 years. Yeah. So I think it's one of the topics that is misunderstood by traders.
What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
I trade with IC Markets and trading platform. Yeah, MetaTrader 4. I've never even tried MetaTrader 5. I don't know why. I think MetaTrader 4 you get all these things that you ever need. So I trade price action anyway. So I just need a horizontal line. So that's
all you need. Anyone can do that. Any platform can do that. Now, what's your worst trade ever?
Worst trade ever. I think it was double the risk that I moved my stops from actually having 1% risk, and then I just thought that it has to reverse. It has to reverse, right? But I think as traders, we've all been there, and I just moved my stops until it was 2%, and then I was out, and it was like basically the moment I entered, it went into the drawdown and it never came back to my entry, and it went to minus 2%. So it was, I was really disappointed, but it happens. Just take your lessons and move on. Come back tomorrow.
Right. Well, on that, what if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Again, just a matter of persistence. You have to come back every single day, even if you lose every day, even if you lose every trade, come back, do your journaling and learn from it and come back. And even if it will take you 5 years or 6 years or whatever it might take, if you love what you're doing, if you find trading interesting for you, you can certainly have it all, basically, and you should consider yourself lucky. So come back tomorrow, and there's going to be a much better trade, and your best trade is yet to come. You haven't seen your best trade yet, so that's something to be excited about, right?
Cool, yeah, definitely. Look, last question of the show. So we'd like you to give us the bones of a trading strategy. So the entry setup, stop loss, take profit targets, market and time frame. Basically, something our listeners can have a bit of a play with at home. What have you got for us there, Max? Have you got something?
Yeah, why not? Try 4 hour break and retest. So just mark your zones. So you don't have to go a lot back in time, but just on the chart, just mark your zones, sort of like latest support and resistance, and just check the chart every 4 hour. And if you get a break, like a candle closes above or below the zone, then you will see that it's a break and the market wants to go up or down. Depending on where the candle closed, it has to be a really like a bullish or bearish close, and then put your limit order like halfway through the 4 hour candle, basically of 50% retracement, let's say, or like put it just exactly on halfway through, and stop loss above or below the candle as well, and take profit to 2R. And this, I think this is the most no-brainer strategy that I know it works. And I've backtested it, and I really like the simplicity of the things. So I think trading should be as simple as possible. And if you can't actually tell a small kid what you're doing, what's your strategy in 30 seconds, then you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Okay, cool. Look, before you wrap up, what's the best way for the listeners to get hold of you?
I'm actually on every possible platform out there, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Medium, LinkedIn, you name it. My name is Maxim Shilo, and Maxim Maxim Shilo, and you can also search for Maximilian. So Maximilian with 0 instead of last O. Maximilian. That's my sort of nickname or social media account on every platform.
Brilliant. Well, look, a big thank you to Max for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all the links, are going to be in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Max in the search box on TradingNut.com. Until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that interview with Max. Now, the links that I mentioned at the start of the show, they're all on that Linktree thing in the description, so go and find that. It'll have all the links there to the video we shot after the interview, and also the funding options if you're looking to get funded as a Forex or a futures trader. And what else does it have? Oh, we've got got links to the Robot Traders Club. I must say, we've stumbled across something quite nice in there. I managed to double a $100 account with under 2 weeks using like the lowest risk possible. So we've found a really good little setup there. If you want to check that out, head over to the Linktree and you can find it there. Also, guys, I've opened up the gates as well, and I need to add this to the Linktree as well, is you can now once again, and this was a 52 Traders thing way back in the day, you can once again buy me beers if you want. If you do enjoy these podcasts and just want to say thanks, then you can go over there and there's a bar where you can purchase virtual beers for your host for doing this work. All right, guys, until next time, I'll see you in the markets.